So I want to talk about books again. So I'm gonna talk about books again. I have behind me the I think the girls on BookTube call it the physical TBR. To be read. These are the books that I want to read this fall. There, I finally spit it out. Okay, so I just want to go through here and read off some of the books that I want to read this fall because I feel like they're gonna give me fall vibes. So I'm gonna just kind of read these off to you and what I'm hoping I will get out of them. So the first one I have is actually just a dust jacket because the book is downstairs waiting for me to crack it open and read it. And this one is called The Spell Shop. And if you've spent any time online in the last, I don't know, 3 months, I feel like you've seen this cover. It's gorgeous. And I stopped in my tracks when I was in Target this summer. I think it was August. And I saw this book and it had like a sticker on it that said it was like 10 or 20% off. I can't remember, but I know it was discounted. So I bought it. And it's about a librarian. She escapes to, I think, her hometown and starts making jam. And there's a cat on the cover with wings, and it just looks so cozy and like fall. So, yeah, I'm excited. And I think it's like, I think it's a magical fantasy romance kind of thing, but I'm excited about it. So I can hardly wait to crack that one open. And then I have a couple of other witchy books. I've been in a witchy book mood. I have The Once and Future Witches, and most of these, all but like a couple of them are books I've never read before. Because I'm also on this journey to read the books in my library that I own that have never read. Okay, so never read this one, The Once and Future Witches by Alex E. Harrow. In 1893, there's no such thing as witches. There used to be in the wild, dark days before burnings began, but now witching is nothing but tidy charms and nursery rhymes. If the modern woman wants any measure of power, she must find it at the ballot box. But when the Eastwood sisters, James Juniper, Agnes Amaranth, and Beatrice Belladonna, join the suffragists of New Salem, they begin to pursue the forgotten words and ways that might turn the women's movement into the witches' movement. Stalked by shadows and sickness, hunted by forces who will not suffer a witch to vote, and perhaps not even to live, the sisters will need to delve into the oldest magics, draw new alliances, and heal the bond between them if they want to survive. It has deckled edges, meaning the pages are not like completely even, which is not my preference. But it is what it is. It sounded really interesting. Next is another witchy book, and it's called The Witch's Kind. This one is a novel by Louisa Morgan. She also wrote A Secret History of Witches. It is a poignant tale of family sacrifice and magic in the aftermath of World War II. Two women must conceal their unusual gifts and the mysterious baby they discover by the sea from dangerous men who seek power for their own sinister ends. This one also has the deckled edges, which once again is not my favorite, but I love a historical fiction. And it's a long one. These are both kind of long books. The Witch's Kind is over 500 pages, and then The Witch's Kind, 440 pages on this one. So both longer books. One more witchy book, at least that I know of. I don't know if any of these others are witchy. But The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. This is the first reread. This was a gift from a friend. Thank you, Adam. He thought I would like it, and I do. I really thought it was a sweet one. The author has a second book coming out, which I've already pre-ordered, but it was delayed, which makes me really sad. So I think it was supposed to originally come out this month, and now it's coming out in April. But I pre-ordered it on Amazon. And if you don't know, pre-ordering books on Amazon gets you the best deal automatically. So when you pre-order the book, let's say when you pre-order it's $15 just for round numbers, and then if at any point between when you pre-order and when the book comes out, if the price ever goes down, you automatically pay the lowest price that the book is ever listed at. So it's nice, and you don't have to do anything. You just pre-order the book and then they charge you automatically the lowest price, which is cool. This one's a shorter one. It's a sweet one. It's a romance. I know that. So I'm excited about it. Next is Shatterglass. This one has what looks like a crystal dragon on the cover. This is one that we have owned for a really long time, okay? I think Emma used to read this a lot. I think. I've never read it. It looks interesting. Yeah, Emma read this one. You know how I know? There's a postcard of Edinburgh Castle in it. So this one I think is what they classify as middle grade. But I'm excited to read this one. There's a dragon on it. So I'm going to read that one. Next is The Wish Granter. This one I bought for $3.97. The stories say the Wish Granter is an ancient fey creature who can grant you the desire of your heart. They don't say that in 10 years he'll return for your soul. There's a really cool map in the end pages. I'll show you this. So, yeah, I bought this because it was $4 and because the cover was really pretty. And I'm excited to read this one. It sounds fascinating. I hope it's good. So, that's really all I know about it. Something about it though, like the cover maybe being navy, somehow gives me fall vibes. Next I have a Nancy Drew book. This is The Clue of the Leaning Chimney, Nancy Drew Mystery Stories number 26. I always want to read Nancy Drew in the fall. And I don't know if it's like the mystery aspect that I'm like, oh, it's creepy, it's spooky, I want to read Nancy Drew, or if it's the Nancy Drew movie that gets me in the mood for Nancy Drew stories. But I do have a bookmark in here because I did start reading this one a long time ago. The reason this one is number 26 is because a couple of years ago I started reading all of my Nancy Drew books from beginning to end, and I got through 25 of them, and I think we have 64 of them. So if I can get through 5 or 10 a year, you know, and they're really short, they're made for kids, you know. They're not really spooky scary, which I can't handle, but I can handle Nancy books, and she's so inspiring. I love Nancy Drew, so I'm excited to read more Nancy this fall. Next I have one called Haunting Mr. Darcy. If you know me, you know I love Pride and Prejudice. Like, if you know me at all, you know I love Pride and Prejudice, and I've been really into Pride and Prejudice fan fictions or spin-off stories or epilogues, and so I have some of them like this that were, I think, indie published on Amazon, and this one is by Carolyn McRory, and this says, what happens to the happily ever after when the ever after has already happened? A spirited courtship indeed. Jane Austen's much adored Pride and Prejudice is transfigured in this Regency adaptation. That fickle friend, fate, intervenes when an unexpected event threatens the happily ever after of literature's favorite love story. The gentlemen from Netherfield have left, winter is upon the land, and after a horrifying carriage accident, Elizabeth Bennet finds her spirit transported, as if by magic, into Mr. Darcy's London home. Paranormally tethered to the disagreeable man, it doesn't help that he believes she is a phantasm of his love-struck mind and not the real Elizabeth. Somehow they must learn to trust, learn to love, and learn to bring Elizabeth back to her earthly form before it is too late. I feel like this is perfectly spooky for the spooky season, and so I want to read that one before Halloween. And I do really like supporting, you know, indie published authors on Amazon. I feel like it's hard to write a book. I've never done it, but I can't imagine how difficult it must be. And so I want to support the people who are brave enough to write things and publish them for people to read and buy, you know. And yeah, it makes me happy to buy those things, and so I'm glad I have it, and now I want to read it. Next, I have 2 more romance books, and these are actually by one of my favorite authors of all time, Leila. I'm going to call her Leila Meekum. I don't know how you pronounce her name, but they are Crowning Design and Allie's House. Now, Leila Meekum wrote a bunch of books, and these were some of her first books that she wrote. I think they were written in the 80s. And the story of how she got started writing books was really funny. She was a school teacher, and one of her school teacher friends basically dared her, I dare you to write a book. So she did, and then she became a wonderful author. She's written some, like, wonderful sagas, like I'm looking at it, Roses and Somerset saga. I have read Titans 7 or 8 times. I've read Dragonfly 3 times, both by Leila Meekum, and I own, I think, all of her books now because I've been collecting them. But these are 2 of her older romance books that she wrote in the 80s. I've read Ryan's Hand twice, but neither of these, and I want to get through them because they're shorter, and so I'm excited to read them because I like the author. And I feel like romance books are lighthearted, and some of this stuff I feel like is going to be really heavy, like the witches books, the 2 that I started with. I feel like those are going to be a little heavy, and they might take me a little longer to get through. I'm just popping in here to say that I have one more book that I want to add to this list of TBR for the fall. And I have For Your Thoughts by Cameron Jackson. Cameron Jackson is a friend of mine, and he self-published this book. It was available on Ko-fi or Coffee, I don't even know, whatever. But it's also, I bought the paperback on Amazon, so you can get the Kindle. It's available on Kindle Unlimited. You can get a paperback on Kindle or on Amazon, and mine was printed in Orlando, which I think is really cool. And he even told me that I got mine before he got his, and so yeah, I just want to add this to my TBR. I mean, it's already on there, but now I have this one, and I didn't when I filmed this video, but now I do. So this is obviously on my TBR this fall. And then the last books that I have, let's start with these 2. So I have 2 books by Tony Dungy. If you know me at all, you know that I enjoy professional football. I like watching my Kansas City Chiefs, and I really like Tony Dungy. I like him on, I think it's Football Night in America. He's on like the Sunday Night Football cast on NBC. And I really like him. He's always so calm and collected, and I agree with a lot of the things that he says, and I think he's very wise, and he brings a lot of expertise to the table because he, was the head coach of the Buccaneers for so long, and he was coach of the year 2007. There's a sticker on here, and I bought both of these books used, okay? So, first of all, I'm very sad for whoever gave this book up. I mean, either of them, really, but who gave up a personalized book? This was signed by Tony Dungy to you, Brandon. How sad. But I want to read more nonfiction, and I feel like the way to do that is to read things that I'm interested in, about people that I'm interested in. I don't want to force myself, but I'm excited about these, and it's fall, it's football season. I'm excited to read these. And we're going to stick with a football theme for the last 2. I have a John Madden book. I think it's All Madden, Hey, I'm Talking Pro Football. Okay, so John Madden's hard for me because of the Raiders connection, and I'm, a Chiefs fan, so the Raiders are hard for me. But I have a lot of respect for John Madden and all that he did for the sport of football. So I want to read this one, and it's a short one. This is another one I bought cheap because it was used. But yeah, 212 pages. And so it's really not very long. I feel like I should be able to get through that one pretty quick. But it's interesting to me. And then this one. So this is Playmakers by Mike Florio. And I watch Pro Football Talk on NBC, or NBC Sports, I should say. But I watch Pro Football Talk most week mornings. I love the show. Kind of sad because Chris Sims used to be on it 4 days a week. And this year, since he's doing the college football thing, he's only on it 1 day a week, which is really sad. I get my Chris Sims fix through his podcast, and then they do their picks podcast every Thursday. But I want to read the book because I like Mike Florio. I like the show. I bought the book on Amazon to support him. This is a long one, but Mike Florio is so educated and well-spoken, I think. It's 368 pages. I think I should be able to get through this one too, but I want to do this during football season. I don't usually read books, like multiple books at the same time, but I feel like with these 4, the football books, since they're nonfiction, I feel like I should be able to get through those while I'm also reading a fun book, I think. So I don't know that this is the order I'm going to read these books in, but these are the books that I want to read this fall. So these are the books that I'm hoping will give me all of the fall vibes. And I do have more Nancy Drew, so if I run out, you know, if I have lots and lots of books or lots and lots of time to read, and I end up reading all of these and need more, I can read more Nancy. I am going to try to link as many as I can in the description box. So if you're looking for any of these books, I will link them in the description box. Thank you so much for watching and for sticking with me through this whole thing. This was a lot of fun for me. Let me know if you like the book content, because I like talking about books, but I don't know if you like listening to me talk about books. But that's it for today. I'm done talking about books and I'm done talking, period. And you guys will see me in another video really soon. Bye.